Who are the best wrestlers in the world that will be missing out on the Olympics? Well, today I hope we can answer that, and in a sick sort of way, have fun detailing some of these legends in the sport. Now, a few ground rules that a few people may or may not dislike. Countries like USA, Russia, Azerbaijan, basically countries that have everyone qualified, will not be mentioned a ton in this video. Obviously, I know there's guys like Thomas Gilman, Jason Nolf, David Taylor, and who knows how many Russians could probably medal in this field this year, but won't be attending due to them not making their national team. However, this video is more for the quote-unquote starters of every country, the wrestlers that made their national spot but still couldn't crack in the Olympics due to the qualification process. By the way, a lot can change from now until, well, the Olympics, like an athlete could get hurt, resulting in the country putting in their second best wrestler, and so on and so forth. Now, with all that said up front, whether it was luck, skill, depth of the weight class, or just darn talent, let's talk about the best wrestlers who will be missing out on the Olympic Games. Also, if you have fun watching this or you are a freaking flyer here, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. Also, if you really enjoy TrueTan wrestling, I have new merch available for all different kinds of wrestlers and fans, so go check it out. It really helps me make these fun videos along with making more long form documentaries like the 2018 documentary I made back in March and the John Smith short film coming out in August. But now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about some of the very best wrestlers that came just a little short. Now, my dad always taught me to be honest, and to be honest with all you, the best place to start is, well, honesty. And to be honest, I didn't have any idea where I wanted to start with this video. I truly didn't know if I wanted to go in random order, go from quote-unquote worst to best, or the other way around, or just in some other goofy fashion. At the end of the day, though, I basically typed as I researched, and at the very top of the list, we have to talk about Frank Chamizo. This dude is a 3-time world medalist at 3 different weight classes. And he was dang close to being a world champ at all 3 of those weight classes as well. 2 of his world titles came at 65 kilograms and then 70 kilograms with a world silver at 74. Think of all the great wrestlers who have tried to do this weight bump and just failed to do so. Originally from Cuba, Chamizo transferred to Italy, giving them a lot of star power for the ages. I think Chamizo's biggest claim to fame is his highlight reel performances, his attitude towards the sport, and well, he's beat some of the best wrestlers in the game, and he really has the accomplishments to back it up too. Clearly we all know, but for those who don't, he got hosed pretty bad at the Euro Championships, which really stinks we won't get to see the guy at the Olympics again, where he was a former bronze medalist in 2016, and he had a very competitive 2021 Olympics. Overall, I didn't think Chamizo looked his best at the Last Chance Qualifier, but as always, he was a blast to watch in general. The dude just makes really interesting stuff look very effective, at times at least. But overall, I hope he's not done with the sport and we get a few more years of Chamizo. The next wrestler we're going to talk about set his shoes on the mat, indicating his retirement. And instead of embarrassing myself, I'm just going to let Google Translate do all the work.
Magomed Ibragimov.
Ibragimov was a 39-year-old, 97-kilogram representative from Uzbekistan. He actually took bronze at the Olympics back in 2016 when Kyle Snyder won it, so post-Sagilayev at 97 kilograms, but still want to honor the big Uzbekistan stud. I think wrestling until you're 39 years old and hitting spladles on dudes in your last competition is pretty impressive, but I digress. Let's move on. You know, being on the toughest side of the bracket really does and doesn't have its perks. For one, if you win the toughest side of the bracket, you're just a stud, all hands down on that one. So there's one perk, I guess. But I think everyone can agree being on the toughest side of the bracket when the other side is a little weaker is just simply unfair. However, one huge perk in international wrestling for being on the toughest side of the bracket is, well, there's a high chance you'll get pulled back into the repechage. That was the fortunate case for Zane Rutherford for USA this weekend, who literally won 7 matches to qualify for the Olympics, 4 of those being on the back side of the bracket. With that said, one thing I noticed about being on the tougher side is, yes, you get pulled back in a lot easier, but your road back is also pretty dang tough, with a lot less room for error as the top side of the bracket. Rutherford had 2 Russian transfers, an India rep who was pretty tough, I'd say, along with a Belarusian who went on a similar run as Zain Rutherford. I bring them all up because they all deserve to be mentioned here. So Jeff from India, I really didn't give enough credit, but he really got the short end of the stick this weekend, losing to 2 Olympic qualifiers, but seriously battling incredibly tough. I think he will be here to stay for India, and I think he might be their new long-term rep at 65 kilograms, and I'm honestly kind of excited for it, not from a USA fan perspective, but because India has another great rep here. Kudeyev of Tajikistan is a battler for their country, and he wasn't even really that competitive with Zain Rutherford, but for sure a great wrestler. I also wanted to tip my hat to Destrabats of Argentina, who had a pretty good freestyle season last year, really pushing and beating some familiar USA names, but unfortunately he will also not be at the Olympics. Then on the top side of the bracket, I know it wasn't as tough as maybe the bottom side of 65 kilograms at the Last Chance Qualifier, but Dudayev, the qualifier on the top, still had some great wins for wrestlers that easily should be at the Olympics, like Scribayan, the Belarusian, who was a match shy of making the Olympics. Also shout out to the 2 North Korea reps at 57 and 65 kilograms. They missed the mark by a few matches, sure, but they were just so fast, and I really wish we got to see them compete more because honestly they don't compete all that much unless it's gearing up for the Olympics. Speaking of 57 kilograms, there was a ton of potential Olympians here that just won't be going in 2024. Turkey's wrestler Kavaris is a pretty young representative for them, and I think he's going to have a lot of great results in his career, but he seemed a little inexperienced at the Last Chance Qualifier. Also, the announcer on the broadcast called Turkey. Can someone please let me know in the comment section below if that's how you actually pronounce that country, because I've been saying it wrong my entire life. However, to get back to some wrestling, Kararvas' match with Horslayer of Germany was absolute craziness to the 10th degree. And I really think Kararvas could have really taken control of the match and shut down Horslayer's KO power, but again, I think he's just a little young and inexperienced for the senior level right now. Either way, it was 2 great wrestlers that will be missing out on the Olympics. The fact that Turkey doesn't have Attili or Kararvas going is really tough for them. Then to wrap up 57 kilograms, Iran's only representative that will not be going to the Olympics of the 6 weight classes is Sarlak at 57 kilograms, who was a former world finalist back when Thomas Gilman won his gold. So clearly a big hit for Iran there. To jump back up to 74 kilograms, I really didn't see it going down the way it did at the Last Chance Qualifier, but man, was it fun. I know there was no Americans in the weight class, but it could have easily won the weight class of the weekend. Obviously, Chamizo couldn't even battle back for true third, but there was also guys like Kanchadi of Georgia who couldn't either. He lost to Valiev, who lost on a singlet pull in the semifinals. Luckily enough for him, he would rattle off and get that 3rd place spot, giving Albania another qualifier. Dimitris of Turkey was another great Turkey rep not to make it out to the Olympics. And there was just so many others here that couldn't make it out to 74 kilograms, but that weight's already low enough, so I don't know how much more talent could be added to it. Also, the Turkey locals seem to love wrestling because every time there was a Turkey wrestler on the mat, they were going nuts. I would have loved to see the World Championships in Istanbul when the Turkey Greco team won it just a few years ago. It would have been so cool to listen to on the broadcast, or well, actually be there live for. One wrestler I wanted to shout out at 86 kilograms was Ukrainian representative. He's a few-time bronze medalist at 79 kilograms, and he was a win shy from making a very solid 86 kilogram field. I kind of hope he drops back down to 79 kilograms for the World Championships this year, because I seriously think he could be a title threat. I honestly think he could be a medal threat at 86 kilograms too, depending on who goes at the Olympics, but I think 79 kilograms is ultimately his best weight. There's also Deepak Punia, who went 0-1 at the last Olympic qualifier for India. He's done some really great stuff in freestyle, but he's still looking like he's trying to return to form to what he once was. Finally, I want to shout out Venezuela's Diaz at heavyweight. I always kind of like following these Pan Am guys and see him take out some of those Euro guys that always get the spotlight. He was a former Olympian actually at 97 kilograms, and he's now up at heavyweight. Heavyweight had a lot and then some already qualified for the Olympics, to be honest, so I didn't think this weight was super deep, but don't get me wrong, the guys who qualified definitely deserve to be at the Olympics, and there were still some studs there. If anything, it made for an interesting field, and I wanted to shout out Diaz because he battled tough, and it's a shame he won't be back at the Olympics. And now, with all that said, I really hope you all found some weird enjoyment out of me talking about the best guys whose hearts are crushed right now. I am excited to hopefully see some of these guys at the 2024 World Championships looking to prove something to themselves and, well, the world. I know a large majority might retire, but who knows. However, if I forgot your favorite wrestler, be sure to comment it down below, along with liking and subscribing so you don't miss out on any of the TrueTan wrestling fun. I plan on making a mega deep dive, whatever you call it, preview for the Olympic Championships, so be on the lookout for that. That probably won't be out until super close to the Olympic Games, since we still have to wait for one more ranking series to see where the seeds fall. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this video and enjoy all the videos in between that one. And as always, take care, everybody.